Have you ever felt like you weren't naturally gifted enough to succeed? That no matter how hard you tried, there was always someone who just seemed to get it faster? Well, I want to tell you a story that might just change your perspective. It's about two young men, Leo and Sam, who lived in a small town nestled by the mountains. Leo was what you'd call a prodigy. He was a gifted artist. Give him a piece of charcoal, and he could capture the soul of a person in a few swift strokes. His sketches were alive, brimming with energy and emotion. Everyone in town, from the baker to the mayor, said Leo was destined for greatness. They saw his raw talent and were certain he'd one day have his work hanging in famous galleries. Then there was Sam. Sam also loved to draw, but it didn't come as easily to him. His lines were often hesitant, his proportions were a little off, and his early sketches lacked the spark that Leo's had. People would pat him on the back and say, "That's nice, Sam. Keep practicing." They were kind, but nobody saw a future artist in him. They just saw a boy with a hobby. Both Leo and Sam dreamed of being accepted into the prestigious Royal Academy of Art, a school so exclusive it only accepted a handful of new students each year. The entrance exam was a portfolio submission, a showcase of their best work. Leo, confident in his abilities, didn't stress too much. He'd draw when inspiration struck, which it often did. He'd spend an entire afternoon creating a breathtaking landscape, then not pick up a pencil for a week. "Why grind when the muse does the work for you?" he'd say with a smirk. His friends would gather around, marveling at his latest creation, reinforcing his belief that talent was all he needed. He lived for those moments of praise, the instant gratification of creating a masterpiece out of thin air. His portfolio was a collection of these brilliant, sporadic flashes of genius. Sam, on the other hand, knew he couldn't rely on sudden bursts of inspiration. So, he made a simple promise to himself. He would draw every single day. No matter what. Rain or shine, tired or energized, inspired or completely blocked. He set up a small desk in the corner of his room, and that corner became his sanctuary. His routine was unglamorous. Every morning, before the sun was fully up, he'd sit and draw. He started with the basics. He drew hundreds of circles, hundreds of squares. He filled sketchbooks with hands, feet, and eyes, the things most artists find tedious. His progress was slow, almost invisible on a day-to-day basis. There were many mornings he'd look at his work and feel a pang of despair. His drawings looked clumsy, lifeless, especially when he thought of Leo's effortless talent. Sometimes, Sam would see Leo in the town square, effortlessly sketching a portrait of a passerby, a crowd forming around him. A part of Sam felt a sting of envy. It seemed so unfair. Leo was born with a gift, a shortcut to the finish line, while Sam had to trudge along a long, winding path. But after that fleeting moment of doubt, Sam would go home, sit at his desk, and pick up his pencil. He wasn't drawing for a crowd. He was drawing for himself. He was building something, brick by painstaking brick. As months turned into a year, a subtle change began to happen. Sam's lines became more confident. His understanding of light and shadow deepened. He started to see the world not just as objects, but as shapes, forms, and values. The daily discipline was forging new pathways in his brain. The muscle memory in his hand was becoming second nature. He wasn't just copying what he saw anymore. He was starting to interpret it, to add his own voice to his work. His drawings began to show a depth and a thoughtfulness that wasn't there before. Meanwhile, Leo continued his pattern. He'd create a stunning piece, receive a flood of admiration, and then coast on that high for days. He wasn't practicing the fundamentals. He felt he was beyond them. He was chasing the thrill of creation, not the discipline of craft. He mistook the applause for progress. His talent was a mighty river, but it flowed only when the storm of inspiration hit. On sunny days, the riverbed was dry. Sam's discipline, however, was like a steadily flowing stream. It wasn't as dramatic or spectacular as Leo's flash floods, but it never, ever stopped. It was carving its own path through the landscape, getting deeper and wider with each passing day. Finally, the day for the portfolio submission arrived. Leo gathered his best pieces. They were undeniably brilliant, dynamic, exciting, and full of raw power. Each one was a testament to his incredible natural ability. He packed them up, feeling a surge of confidence. He was Leo, the prodigy. This was his destiny. Sam's portfolio looked different. It wasn't a collection of a few showstoppers. It was a journey. It included his studies of hands, his explorations of light on a simple apple, and his character sketches that had grown from awkward caricatures into portraits filled with subtle emotion. His final pieces were technically superb, but they also had something more: a story. You could see the hours, the dedication, the love poured into every single line. It was the work of a craftsman, not just a talent. Weeks later, the acceptance letters were sent out. The whole town was buzzing, waiting to hear the good news about Leo. But the letter that arrived at the post office with the Royal Academy seal was addressed to Sam. A quiet shock rippled through the community. How could this be? How could Sam, the diligent but ordinary boy, be chosen over Leo, the town's celebrated genius? Leo was devastated. He couldn't understand it. He stormed over to the old art master in the next town, who sometimes mentored students, demanding an explanation. He laid his portfolio out. "Look at this," he said. "How could they reject this?" The old master looked through Leo's work carefully. "Leo," he said gently, "your talent is a firework. It explodes in the sky, dazzling everyone for a magnificent moment. But then it's gone. We see the flash, but we don't see the skill it takes to build the firework itself." Then he pulled out a copy of Sam's portfolio, which Sam had shared with him. "Now look at this," he continued. "This is not a firework. This is the building of a star. It starts with a small, dense core of fundamentals. Then, layer by layer, through immense pressure and consistency, it grows. It builds its own light, its own heat." Sam's work shows not just where he is, but the entire journey of how he got here. The Academy doesn't just look for talent. They look for potential, for discipline, for a foundation strong enough to build a lifetime of art upon. The lesson here is so incredibly powerful. Talent is a wonderful head start. It's like being born with a faster car in a race. But if you never learn how to drive it properly, if you only take it out for a spin when you feel like it, you'll be overtaken by the person in the slower car who drives every single day, mastering every turn, learning the engine and never ever giving up. Consistency is the engine of achievement. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting. It's the quiet, daily commitment to show up, even when you don't feel like it. It's the boring stuff. The practice scales, the rough drafts, the extra rep at the gym, the 5 pages you read every night. Each small, consistent act is a vote for the person you want to become. So, if you're out there feeling like Sam, looking at the Leos of the world and feeling discouraged, I want you to remember this story. Don't be mesmerized by someone else's highlight reel. Focus on your own daily practice. Fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. Because talent can fizzle out, but consistency builds a fire that can burn for a lifetime. Your small daily efforts are creating a momentum that over time becomes an unstoppable force. Consistency will always beat talent when talent isn't consistent. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Let me know in the comments about a time when consistency paid off for you. I'd love to hear your story. See you in the next video.